Some parents started homeschooling, they're not doing a good job, they're not being disciplined, they're not disciplining their children, they're not following through in their academics, the child fails at home, they go back off to public school, and oh, look at those homeschoolers. They never follow through, they don't learn organization.
The public school system sometimes sees us as a threat because obviously there are funds that will be lost anytime a homeschool child or a public school child decides to homeschool. They're losing that funding as well.
A couple of reasons. One of the reasons in the public education sector that this is a problem is it is a money issue. Every student that is not in public school does not get federal and state money on that per head that's counted every day in attendance. So that's a big issue. Money is a big issue. Another issue is control. Is that they want to be able to control what the children are learning, what they're exposed to. They say that this is better for the country to homogenize everybody's learning experience, which historically has never been true.
And that is a popular liberal position in some circles. And that's their logical argument that the freedom to homeschool is endangering freedom because the way we define freedom is tolerance and universal amorality, if you will. Whereas homeschoolers, especially those pesky Christian ones, have an idea that there's actually a thing called right and wrong, and that it does extend into the public sector.
I mean, on the one hand, I think it's a hostility towards Christ. First and foremost, most homeschoolers are Christians. They're not all Christians. I'm not naive to believe that. But most of them are homeschoolers. And we live in a culture that is absolutely opposed to the crown rights of Jesus Christ being pronounced in the culture and in the world of our ideas.
My dad was the president of the State School Board Association for 27 years. And so whenever I told him that I was going to homeschool his grandchildren, he was incensed because it was an affront to what he had given his life to. I had some wonderful mentors through my high school career, which was a public school career, and through my college. And they were great, and we were just great comrades. And like I said, they were great mentors to me. And when I told them that I was going to homeschool my children, they were incensed, they were hostile, they were antagonistic. And it was because that my decision was an affront to their decision.
And the other part of that is a professional snobbery. I have my teaching degree, and therefore I know how to teach better than you do. And so
when I began homeschooling, I wasn't judging anybody except my own child who needed more attention. She wasn't learning to read in a public school situation. I wanted to take her out and teach her to read. That's what I did. It took me 6 weeks.
But it does point a little bit that says, oh, you think you're better than we are. We don't mean it that way, but it does feel that way. I can understand that. You know, and I think it gets even worse, especially for the public school system, people in the system, because their own system is failing so miserably. They can't point at their system and say, well, if you were doing it like us, I mean, they already see the results in us, so I think they just make more noise, you know. And so I think especially as a homeschooler, my advice, whenever you're not up against, but I would never defend yourself. I would never defend what you do. I would let your children speak, you know, by their actions.